A little bit of inspiration for you. I've been looking at the connection between the Sanskrit language and rhythm and doing my own investigations, contemplations on this. And today I had this sort of insight come to me. In Sanskrit, it's like the language comes from the vowel sound, the open sound. And so the vowels create everything, the vowel sounds. And the first vowel sound is really the sound that comes out of our natural breath, or the sound of our being without doing any effort, that effortless effort. And out of those sounds the primary sounds, the other vowel sounds arose, and the combination between this percussive action in the mouth to cut the sound, to cut the vowel sound, which is the open sound, creates then the meaning, the language, the form, the shape of the world, of creation, of our own personality actually, because our mother tongue creates who we are. And there's been a tradition, of course, when colonizers come, they take away the language of the indigenous people and they take away their culture and their ancestry and their roots. So it's a very primal thing. So it's this sound of creation, this sound of our being that we then dance with in our mouth and in our inner core to create communication with others, to bring that out, to express ourselves, to hear who we are even from our own perspective and to share that with others. And so percussion, what is percussion? Like, what is it when you play a drum? What does that mean? So, some traditions, they talk about the 5 elements being on the drum through the different stroke qualities, having the earth, the water, fire, air, and space, by the sound quality or the texture or the depth of the sound. And so looking at it in that same perspective with language, it's like the creation came down from the one being, the one consciousness, the one vibration that then condensed itself and started pulsating and eventually created the 5 elements, and with earth being the most condensed form, becoming material form. So through the elements, the first one that the mind comes through is Akash. This is space, the ethers. And it's considered to be sort of like a feeling of emptiness, but it's actually, from the 5 elements, of course, the least condensed form that we have in creation, these 5 elements. So it's still vibrating at a higher level that we can't comprehend. So if you look at that as being that primal sound, because the Akash, the ethers, the sense associated with that is hearing, and that sound in the Akash pervades all the other elements, and that sense of sound and hearing. So when you have earth, you have all the senses, including sound and including that hearing sense. So rhythm is like this space, this Akash, continuing until something breaks the silence. And So the qualities that we bring in with the different stroke patterns, whether it's a we're breaking that silence with some texture, some textured sound, some sharp or long or whatever type of sound, and creating rhythm and creating a language on the drum, creating a percussive language, which we also use to communicate, not with the mind, not with words, not with concepts, but with sound. And this is really a way Indigenous people have communicated for eras and eras, you know, the original people. It was like language was probably secondary to this meeting together in rhythm and sound and dance and embodied language, embodied expression. And so I'm still playing with this idea, but today I could just see how what we learn in Sanskrit and how creation comes about through that cosmology and the mythology around it and the philosophy and percussion and how that all joins together. So I invite you to think about these things, and when you're drumming, to look at it from not from the perspective of how do I make the sound, but how do I connect with the silence, which I'm now about to divide up and make a rhythm and make a pattern within the ethers. And it probably really shows also that it's a bit like a Morse code, you know, like it's like those rhythms going out into space and affecting everything.